Hello, everyone. Hi, hi, hi. Hello, how are we all doing? Uh, this is Pimo, and welcome to Conversations with Pimo. How are you doing? If you can see me and you can hear me, please let me know in the chat comments. We are live on YouTube, the Pimo Secrets, and we're also live on my Facebook page and on Babes Redefined group. You are welcome. Happy Easter. Is not too late to say Happy Easter. I mean, we're still in the Easter mood, I believe. Hello, everyone. You are welcome. You're welcome to Conversations with Pimo. I'm just going to give us a few minutes to join in. As always, where are my people? Uh, nice, nice, nice. We are live. We are live. We are live. I mean, we've been on a journey this month of April. Why am I saying November? Month of April. I mean, we started last week with the Amalgos, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Amalgo, on the conversation around love and money, which is the theme for this year's Atmosphere Babes Redefined. I just decided to chip in my bit through conversations with Pimo, where I would be sitting with couples to talk on the issue of love and money in marriage and relationship. So we had a very exciting time last week, Thursday. And today, I have another amazing couple with me. I can see them already in the backstage, and I am looking forward to a wonderful, wonderful conversation with them. I know whenever we have to talk about love and money, it's always very intriguing. Conversations like that. We just love love. We love anything that has to do with love, marriage, and of course, you now come and talk about money with it. Everybody is just like, let's talk about it. Oh, it's very, very important. Oh, it's very crucial. We really went into some gray areas last week. I'm hoping we'll be able to touch on some of them today as well. It was very enlightening. Last week's conversation was very enlightening. And I'm looking for another wonderful time today. I'm just going to check that my Facebook account is live. Sometimes it just goes private. I don't know why. I'm trying to see to be sure like it's public. You can reshare from my Facebook wall. Like I said, we're live on YouTube as well. So whichever one is convenient for you, you can join in. Hello, everyone. You are welcome. How was your Easter? Was it great? Did you have a wonderful time? Did you have a great time today? I mean, did you have a great time over the weekend? How was your Easter? How did you spend your Easter? For the first time, I did the bottle flipping game. And it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. You know, when you look at something and you just assume that is easy to do. You see it on the video on YouTube and you just assume, this thing is easy now. I can do this thing until you now find yourself doing it and you're like, this thing is not easy. Oh. I was flipping bottle to eat puff puff. And I was the one that gave the rule, so I couldn't eat the pop off without flipping the bottle. But it was really interesting. It was really nice. We had that on Monday, and then on Sunday we had a picnic in church. It was really cool. It was nice. It was awesome. Hello, hi. You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm just trying to be sure everybody has the link. Just give me a few minutes. Yeah, so I was talking about flipping bottles and I was talking about Easter. Awesome time in church. We had an amazing message, as always, by Pastor Dilly, and we went for a picnic. Thank God the weather was great here in Leicester. Amazing weather that Sunday. And it's funny that it's been raining ever since, but had a wonderful time, had a picnic, was nice, eating jollof rice and fried rice and chicken and moi moi, with brothers and sisters and just, having a nice time outdoor. And of course, yeah, Easter Monday was for relaxation and just resting indoors. And then we had the puff puff, flip your bottle game later in the day. But it was awesome. It was awesome. I trust that your Easter was awesome as well. Yes, I know a lot of people are wondering, Pimo, what's that big news that you have? You said you are pregnant. Yes, I am pregnant. Some people don't believe me. Some people are like, people, are you pregnant with vision, with ideas, with baby? You will know. You will know soon. You will know soon. You will know soon. Oh, it's like people is pregnant with the baby number what? I'm pregnant. I'm fully loaded. About to deliver. Glory to God. Yeah. So let's just dive in into what we have today. And are you ready? 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 Awesome. So we have I have this amazing couple with me, and I'm just going to read their short profile. I've known Jackie and Tolu for over 2 years now. And like I said on Facebook, when I put up the flyer for today, this evening, I said that they've been consistent, they've been passionate about the issue of marriage and relationship. And in the 2 years thereabout that I've known them, they've been on the same conversation, consistent with their line of thought, which is that you can have a godly marriage. You can actually, it is possible to enjoy your marriage. It is possible to get it right. It is possible to have a great marriage. It is not impossible. It's not as hard as we try to paint it to be if you do the things that you're meant to do. So I'm really happy that I have them on this call today, and we're going to be gleaning from them. They're also marriage counselors. I know that they run a ministry where they minister to couples to be, is it couples to be now? What do we call it now? Yeah. People that are about to get married. Yes. So counseling them, preparing them for the marital journey, and just offering their, services. Also, I know consistently Jackie's always feeding us with wholesome, words, encouragement, videos on Instagram if you follow her, and on Facebook as well, just sharing knowledge, with respect to marriage, with respect to the Word of God. So I have no doubt that we're going to crack it today. And I'm hoping and praying that, it will be worth your 1 hour with us, this evening. I'm just going to read their profile. I can see they're waiting eagerly in the backstage, and I also can't wait to bring them up. So, love and marriage, love and money matrix. We just want to look at it. Can love and money work together except they agree? Is love more important than money in marriage? Is money even really important? And if you don't have money, will your marriage work? If you have money, will your marriage work better? So those are the kind of conversations we're going to be having. And it's very, very deliberate that I decided to interview couples, on this particular theme for Conversations with Pimo, because I want to hear from the lady. I want to hear from the guy. I want a balanced view. I'm always for balanced view. I'm not for, just here and there. Let's get a balanced view of what we're talking about. Let's hear the men. I think maybe this is my bias, but I think we hear a lot from the women. Women are always so vocal. They're always talking about, what they think, what they believe, pushing their narrative. But we hear men, but not so often. So anytime I get the opportunity to have, a man on Conversations with Pimo with me, I'm excited because yes, we're getting them talking, and we can glean from their wisdom. So who are my guests this evening? Tolu and Jacqueline are first God's children. I love that. And then his agents on earth. I love that. They are his agents on earth, like an SSS kind of thing, sent on earth with a mission, living for his glory and his praise. They started off as colleagues and ended up as destiny couple. I love that. They're certified marriage mentors. recently birthed the Marriage Max for helping couples set into the purposes of their union and are the lead mentors of God's Prepared Singles Hub. So they prepare you for marriage and they invest a lot of time, resource, wisdom also in building, singles to be mature enough to take on that marital journey. They live and work in the United Kingdom. They're sold out to raising two soldiers for God and hundreds of prepared singles for their destined marriages. With Jesus' joy, can you please welcome with me Tolu and Jackie Oludimu? You are muted. Can you unmute, please?
Thank you, Pimo. Good evening,
Thank
Ma.
you.
Good
Thank you.
evening. It is
Good
such a
evening.
pleasure to see both of you. Thank you, Tolu, for joining, for agreeing to come in on Conversations with Bimo. I know that it would have been easier for me to drag Jackie, but having to drag the both of you, I actually do feel very honored. And thank you so much for honoring my invite to be here this evening.
Thank you for having us, Ma.
Thank you, Pimo, for having us. Yeah, the honor is actually ours. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
When Jackie said it, when Jackie told me, I knew I didn't have a choice. That Pimo, I had to be there.
I
And
have the Pimo effect like that. I know. I have the Pimo
yeah,
effect.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
And I'm
you.
looking forward to a rewarding conversation with both of you this evening on the topic that we have before us. And I am trusting, alongside my listeners and my viewers, that it would be worth our 1 hour together, just gleaning from each other. There are no ground rules, as it were. I am open for vulnerability. I'm open for, being as open and as honest. You're free to share your personal experiences if you're open to do that. So it's just about being, this is who we are. This is what the word of God says. This is, what our experience have been, what we've learned from the things that have shaped us, the things that have helped us. And I'm also excited because you're both mentors, you're both married mentors. So I'm excited because you probably have had people sit before you at different times, counseling them, different scenarios, different experiences. So we're going to be bringing all that wealth of knowledge together today, and we're going to be gleaning from it. So thank you once again for coming on the show, Conversations with Pimo, this evening. All right. I'm just going to go right into it. And I'm going to start first with Tolu. And I'm just going to ask, that's the question I asked my guest last week. And I'm just going to ask you. So when you heard about the topic, love and money matrix, what came to your mind? What were you thinking about? What did you think this was going to be all about?
Thank you, Pimo. When I heard it, the first thing that came to my mind, in fact, just before we started, I'd also mentioned it to Jackie, that this is actually a very key subject in marriage, and takes a lot of discipline, takes a lot of knowing, being intentional, and knowing what you want for money to, how do I put it, not take the place that it shouldn't take in marriage, because money is key. Money is important. I'm going to,
Right.
as I will not lie about that. I'm not going to form spiritual and say that money is key. And so, but because, having said that it is key, is it more important than love? I don't think so. I think that love is the foundation of everything, because
Right.
the way I define love when I'm talking to people is, God is, what does the Bible say about love? The Bible says God is love.
That's right.
It's out of God that everything springs from. So
Right.
love is the most important. Love is the key and the foundation of marriage. However, in marriage, there are a lot of factors that
Right.
would play, and money is
Right.
one of them. You
Mm.
talked about us being vulnerable,
Ah,
uh, and I will start on that table. I know
Why
that
is Jackie looking like?
in our own marriage, some of the down
Right.
periods that we've had
Right.
have been around money issues.
Mm.
Um, it's not like it became everything, but yeah,
Right.
some of the times that we've not been at our best, not been
Right.
happy, like
Right.
in quotes,
Right.
um,
with
I've
their
been
loggerheads.
yeah, I've been around money,
Mm. Mm.
and
So
I
money
always
is
thought
good. Money is good. It's sweet to
money is
have.
good.
It
Yes,
enhances the union and the marriage. You agree?
yes, yes,
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome. Thank you,
Mm.
Tolu. Thank you. Jackie, what came to mind?
Fimo, thank you, Ma. So, what came to mind? Well, money. I mean, I know that money can make or my marriage. Honestly,
Right. Right.
depending on the people who are in the marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I always say to my clients that sometimes Tolu and I would say you can have money,
Right.
and that same money that is making people do better in marriage is the
Right.
reason your marriage is breaking. So
Right.
it's a function of the people in the marriage, and
Right.
some people don't have money, they're not
Mm-hmm.
breaking up, and some
Right.
people don't have money and they're breaking up because they don't have
Right.
money. So it's
Right.
really still going to be about the people
That's
in
it.
the marriage, but money is a critical thing. And like Tolu said, our early days, the major fights were money fights. Yeah.
Haven't we all been there? Haven't we all been there? We all have been there, honestly. And I love what you said that money can either make or mar a marriage. So it's about how you position the issue of money.
Yes.
If you make it a big deal, it could
Mm.
mar the marriage. It could actually bring the marriage to its downfall. But if
Mm.
you understand that money is not an end in itself, it's a
Yeah.
means to an end. It's a
Yes.
tool. It's a
That's
tool
it.
for a greater
That's it.
purpose,
That's it.
and there's so much power in oneness, in agreement. There was something I was working on this afternoon, and I came to that point in Proverbs 31 where it says, "The heart of a husband safely trusts in her,
Mm.
and he would
Mm.
have no lack of gain."
Mm.
When I just began to understand how trust translates into gain,
To
you
gain.
understand?
Mm.
When
Mm.
there's trust, when there's an understanding, when there's a synergy. In fact, the
Mm.
Amplified Bible says, the heart of a husband safely trusts in her. It now says, secure confidence. He
Mm.
has secure confidence in her. He says, as a result of that, he, the husband, will lack no gain. So it's a question of where you are. There's a synergy, there's an agreement. So when you have little, there's an agreement, and you're able to work that little within
Exactly.
the confines of what you can accommodate at that time. You get it
Exactly.
will
Yeah,
still bring you gain.
That's right.
And
yeah,
when you have so much, it doesn't in any way change anything in the sense. It just makes it easier to do some things better. It makes it easier for you to do some things. It makes it easier for you to, you're able to express love, but
yeah,
not love as defined as love. We all know that is express it
yeah,
materially in the way you want to, in a
yeah.
better way. But the other way,
Define the holidays.
I'm telling you, then you can go to the Seychelles, and then you can go
Mm.
to anywhere you want to go, Bahamas, and you can go to Malta. You can go anywhere because you have the money. But when you don't have the money
Yeah,
and you have each other, there's a way you can still express that love, whether or
yeah,
not you have that money. But one of the things I took away, honestly, from the conversation that we had last week with the couple, and I just want to throw it to us this evening, is some women don't have a problem with starting out without money, as it were, as in without so much comfort as they would desire. But the problem is when it becomes consistent. And I'm
mm.
sure you've met people like that, whereby they started out in marriage, the guy had great prospects. Oh, don't worry, I trust, I believe, I have high hopes. There's this business idea. The business idea looks very sweet and juicy, even on paper, looks really very nice. And then they start off, the lady really believes and hopes in this guy. But 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, it seems like they just like moved an inch from where they're coming from. That's where the frustration is. So my question is, how do we avoid such? Where exactly, from your experience in counseling people, would you think that, what resulted in that stagnation, that's been in that spot for that long period of time? I for one I don't think God is a wicked God that will put you in that kind of situation where you are constantly in debt, you're constantly begging, you're constantly, at the mercy of people. And this is year 1, year 2, year 5, year 10. How can we avoid such? And have you experienced that in terms of in counseling people? What would be your counsel if someone came to you like that? This is our 10th year of marriage and we're still where we were 10 years ago.
Okay. I'll start, and I'm sure Jackie would have to. So, from our own experience, I remember that when we started dating, even when we got married, so number one, I know when you read the profile, we had put there that we started out as colleagues, so
Right.
we worked together. As at the time we got married, Jackie was earning more than I did. And it wasn't just that she was earning more than I did. I had a lot of financial issues. I had a lot of debt and all of that. And I remember that was one of the first things that, even before we got married, Jackie started helping me with. So it took me being vulnerable to her. It took me being very open to her. Yeah,
very humble. That's the word.
I allowed her. So it wasn't just me being open. I allowed her to take charge of my finances, because I was owing people.
So you recognize your weakness.
Yes.
And you identified her strength.
Yes.
And you didn't go macho and say, I'm the man here. You hold your money, I will sort myself. Go on, Tolu. I'm really enjoying
it. As in, so my vulnerability with her got to the point where, in fact, when she used to do, every month she would give me a breakdown of how to spend my money.
Oh my goodness.
I remember that she used to, she would put out, first of all, sort out tithes, sort out offering, sort out this, and then sort out.
She's the spreadsheet kind of person.
Yes, and she used to write it. She wasn't on the computer. She used to write. She had a jotter, and she would make 2 copies of it.
Oh my goodness.
2 copies of it, and she would give me. And this is something that we have actually taught to our to the
couples that we work with.
Couples and singles. I've mentioned this. I've said this to them. Now, this is not a template for everybody.
Right.
Also, so going further, I also know that our early days, money was an issue. So when we got married, my salary was increased, and things it looked like it was going to start looking up, but it was still kind of like tight. I remember when we had our first child, and even the second one, both times we had just enough. Yeah, we had just enough. As in, it was just we were just getting by and all of that. And so when I'm now relating that to what you were saying, that somebody starts out and says that yes, there's prospect. I believe Jackie saw that there was prospect in this guy when she started out with me, and the first few years were not as rosy as she would have loved it. I remember we also had the issue of cars. As in, our car was always having issues. The first car, yeah. I'm remembering some things now and all of that. But all that time, we knew what we were doing. I believe that we knew what we were doing, and we worked together on all of those things. Before we got married, my wife used to say she made something clear to me that there are some things that the man has to handle in the marriage. Now, this is not for everybody. This is
Mm-hmm.
for us. It worked for us.
For
And
you.
she will tell you this I am not going to handle. These are for you are the head of this house. You must do this. Every other thing, I will support you. The truth of the matter was, I took it on board and I worked towards making sure that those things that I felt that we agreed were my responsibility, I worked
Can
on.
you
But
pause a bit? Can you pause a bit? I want to ask Jackie, based on that thing you said, was that your way of ensuring that he took responsibility? Not that you couldn't do those things that you said he was going to do, but you wanted him to take that position of being the husband, the head, and you are like, okay, this is your responsibility. You're going to figure out how you're going to get this money and how you're going to sort this bill. Was that the angle you were coming from?
So I'm struggling to say that because I wanted him to, be responsible for those things. Because naturally Tolu is that responsible man. But I think it was because that's my standard. That's the standard. I'm not keen on take me to wherever. I'm keen. I would like to have those things and he knows, but there are some basics for me. So for instance, I didn't have an engagement ring. I don't care about those kind of things, like please. I'm big on the very key thing. So for instance, I want you to be, like you said, the father, the head, the provider. I feel
Right.
like it's such a big deal for the children, even to know and to see, and to grow into. And so I was very clear that, this you would do. And I thank God again that, he also knew his place and he just, and he's been following through. But it's important to mention that even in the early days, like you said, on those times when you couldn't do all of those things.
yeah.
Right.
So I was going to get there. That
Yeah. I
so
just wanted to get her view on that. So
It was
go
just
on.
really my standard. It was me saying, this is what I want. I want
Right.
to be able to continue to look up to you as my provider.
Right.
Really, I really want it. And I feel like those are some of the things that helps me. And
Right.
to today, I'm very humble. He sorts me out. Because he pays my bills.
Tolu, you're doing well. You're doing well. You're doing well. You're doing well.
it's God, it's God's grace. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I was actually going to get at that. Even though we had those things that were I had taken it on board. We had those agreements before we got married, and I had taken it on board. But there were times when I couldn't exactly meet up with all of this, and he had a way of coming through for me without exactly making it obvious that she's coming through for me. So maybe I have some part of it I don't have. Even after we moved to the UK, moving to the UK was not what we thought it was going to be. But
Story for
after
another
we
day.
moved, there are many times that every month you have to pay rent, you have to pay bills, you have to
Right.
do all of this.
Right.
And I remember that we had times when I couldn't exactly get there, but we had a joint account. What I'll just see is that money is in the joint account because she knows that okay, this, and then she will just support me and all
This
of
has
that.
paid
But
for.
she didn't make it. She didn't make it. She still made me feel like you are the one sorting out all of this thing.
Sometimes
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and then sometimes, not sometimes, many times, many times, many times you have a way of getting them.
Right.
So going back to what you now, I've said a lot of things, but going back to what you said,
The
that
real question.
the real question
Someone
is
stays on 10 years.
5 years, 10 years. I believe that from the beginning, before you get married, there are some things that you should have sorted out. There are some agreements you should have had. There are some discussions you should have had. And once you are agreed and once the two of you are working towards that thing, for some people in 2 years they are sorted. For some people it might take more than that. Intentionality is very, very key. The two of you have to be intentional so
Right.
that you understand, especially when the two of you are seeing that the two of you are actually working at that common goal that you have set. As long as that thing is there and the two of you can see and you can both agree that the other party is not slacking, the other party is not just saying that because this other person is in a better place, I leave it to this person.
Yeah.
There has to be
Yeah.
that part where the two of you can see
That's
that
it.
we are both playing our part and we are
That's it.
not slacking.
Even when one person is falling short, and that's what I wanted to point out again, what you said. So you've both agreed. Jackie have said, this is what this and this and this is what I need you to do. And this is the area I'm going to support you with. Or this is the area I'm going to come in. This is the area, are the things I'm going to handle. But I'm happy that you did mention that there were times when you still couldn't meet up with the this, and this that she has mentioned, but she will still support. But in her supporting, you did now get comfortable and say, at least she's supporting, which is what we see. And I'm sure you've met those people.
Yeah.
This is what we see, whereby, oh, she can carry it now. She's fine. Let me just relax. It's okay. And I think that attitude is gradually creeping into a lot of relationships, and it's building resentment. It's bringing some sort of bitterness, even with the women. And they're feeling like, why all this? Why am I the one stressing out for this? But I think how the reason why you guys didn't get to that point was Tolu did not like get comfortable and like, okay, Jackie is covering, at least let me. No, he still understood that this is my responsibility and I'm going to push hard. I'm going to do all I need to do to get there. Let me tell you something that happened to me. Then Jackie, you chip in, with your thoughts. I remember when we moved from Abuja to Lagos and my kids were still very young, and I hadn't worked like office job in a long time. I think I stopped working before I even had my first child. I think I was working, and then I went into business, and then I started doing stuff in Abuja, and I was running my own consultancy, training consultancy firm. But coming to Lagos, I tried my hands on that for a while, but then it wasn't really yielding much. And then I went to see my spiritual father, and I was like, "Sir, I want to work." I knew he had connections with one of the airlines. I said, I want to do air hostess. I want to work, because I heard then that they were making plenty money. I think then was when Virgin first came, and almost some of my friends were already. So I was like, he looked at me, said, first question, I said, how old are your children? I said, one is 5, one is 2, one is something or something. And he's like, no. He said, I'm not going to let you get. Do you realize how rigorous working as the air hostesses and your children as this young? You realize there are nights you won't be at home? I was like, I want to support my husband. See, what I was really saying is like one virtuous woman. I want to support my husband. I want to be able to. He said, yes, I understand that. He now said something, and that thing never left me. He said, why not pray that God will so bless your husband so much that he has more than enough, that even if you have to work, it will be because you want to. And I'm like, okay, I never thought of it that way. He said, yeah. He said, this season of your life, your children need you. In as much as you want to make the money, I know. He said, are you begging for food? I said, no, sir. Are you begging for rent? I said, no, sir. He said, you just need extra just to feel like you're earning money. I said, yes, sir. He said, that season will come. He said, but for now, these children are very important. Somebody has to be there. And my husband was very itinerant at that time. He was always traveling. He wasn't always at home. He said, you need to be at home. He said, but the prayer you should pray is that God should so bless your husband that he has so much that you are so comfortable that whatever you are doing is going to be out of, I just need to try my hands on something. And it's a good place to be. And I actually took his word to it, and I did pray about it. You understand? Just to say that it's a mindset thing. If you understand that, the man can actually, fit into that position if God has graced him, and God can so bless him so much that the support, because I don't know how women feel like, or some men feel like the support the women give in raising children, in taking care of the home, in managing their small business or whatever it is not support enough, because they're not bringing in billions and they're not bringing in millions. So that's a story for another day anyway. But I just needed to chip that in, that it is important that we just believe God for the best, and it is actually possible that we can do that. So Jackie, let me hear from you.
So I want to go, the other way. I mean, absolutely spot on what my husband shared in terms of, are you looking at the strengths in your marriage and leveraging it? Could that be the reason why both of you are still looking like you're in ground zero or ground one in
Mm,
terms of are you really leveraging your union? I remember when we got married and then I started doing hampers at Christmas, isn't it?
mm.
At some point I was trying to do makeup, I was selling makeup, like I was doing many things and I had a 9 to 5 and I had kids. I had my first child 9 months after marriage. So it wasn't like I
Oh,
had to delay. Yeah.
Tolu
So
didn't
I'm
give you breathing space at all. Guy just was a
Tolu,
sharpshooter.
Tolu,
So that was another thing we agreed on, but we are not talking about
yeah,
that
that's
today. We
true.
are
So we're
talking
not
about
talking.
money.
Yeah, so that's another thing. Very interesting, very good point. So he laid that one down. I want kids immediately. Anyway, thank God for God, though. Anyway, but
And we had the second 18 months after.
Gang,
exactly.
chap,
Yeah.
chap. Let's just do this.
Anyway, so that's one aspect which he has highlighted, and also how whether it's the husband or the wife, is being humble in the context of their finances. It may be the wife that needs to be humble, it may be the
Right,
husband that needs to be
right,
humble.
right.
But then I want to now go on the other part, which is always a big deal for us, for me, is the part of purpose and
Mm,
positioning in God. You
mm.
know, we cannot underestimate the hand of God over a union. I can't
That's right.
underestimate it.
That's
The
right.
hand of God over a union, but that's not enough. I always say to my clients and all my couples that my husband will know this is a popular, even in the singles GPM mentoring hub. We always say it as well. It is not enough to marry the will of God for your life. You
Yeah,
must do the will of God
that's it.
with the
That's
will of
it.
God you have
That's
married.
it. That's
So
it.
let me put it in a story so that it will help. Sometimes a couple is in that financial stagnation because yes, they are the will of God. God brought them
Mm-hmm,
together,
mm-hmm,
but they have not now continued in the will of God. That's just a
mm-hmm.
scenario. It's
All
not even
right.
that they've committed sin. It's
Yeah,
that they have not moved to where God wants them to move
that's
to.
it. It's a
It
sin.
may be
When
Abuja
you
to
when you
Lagos.
fall
It
short,
may be, yes, it may be
sin.
Lagos to Abuja. I always believe that the place that God has placed
Yeah,
you
yeah, is
is
where you
your
flourish.
positioning for
That's it.
prosperity. It
That's
may
it.
not come immediately, but I
100%.
know that. And so that's really a counsel for any couple who really feels that way, that you need to check that are you rightly positioned?
That's it.
And we could go on
That,
that for
that, that,
a long,
that
but
is
that's
a
the
major
starting
one.
point.
That is
Mm.
a major one because sorry, Jackie. I found people in that situation. So, for example, even for me myself, like our story, we're in Abuja. My husband said we're going to Lagos. I said I'm not going. Said we're going to Lagos. I said I'm not going. Why? Because I had become a Abuja chick, and I was
Yeah.
feeling like this is the Abuja life. I'm not going to Lagos. I've left Lagos. All things are
Mm,
passed away. I'm not going back there
mm,
because I grew up in
mm,
Lagos, and I was like, no, no, no. I've left all the traffic in Lagos. Why are you bringing me back to Lagos? But I tell you that my walking in obedience, my agreeing
mm,
with my husband,
mm.
and coming to Lagos is one of the best things that happened to me in my life. One of the best things. So I agree with you. Positioning is key
It's
in
key.
in prosperity because there's always the place. The Bible says that it is they that are planted in the
Yeah.
house of the Lord that shall flourish. That
That's
house of
right.
the Lord is not only about church, oh, it's about
Yeah.
Yes.
where God has positioned you. There's a reason
Yeah.
why the angel said to Joseph, take Jesus, the baby, and the mother, and go to Egypt. Because
Yeah.
Yes.
no matter what it is, whether they
Mm.
are the will of God, whether Jesus is the Son of God, if he has stayed back in Galilee, they would have
So
killed him.
good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
They would
So
have
good.
killed him.
Yeah.
They
So
said,
good.
take me to Egypt because there's a reason why God told Abraham, leave Mesopotamia and go to a land I will show you because there's
Yeah.
So good.
prosperity tied
Oh,
where
so
God
good.
Yeah.
wants you to be. But because
Yeah.
of sentiment,
Yeah.
because of, oh, I've started here, or sometimes the woman is the one that gets the job that is going
Mm.
to pay more, and the man,
Yes.
because of
And the
ego,
man is saying, I'm not
can
moving.
you
It's
go?
you, me.
You stay
Mm-hmm.
here, we will manage
Mm-hmm.
here, you cannot
Mm-hmm.
go. And they have shortchanged themselves.
That's
So
right.
this thing you
That's right.
said, Jackie, is very important. Positioning is a critical thing that people need to check and evaluate again. So that thing you said is very true, and I mean it's just so good.
And also another thing that Tolu and I we've come across is when you have a husband who's saying, I'm not meant to work for anyone. I'm meant to start off. We've seen that. And sincerely, whilst I don't and we don't like to get in the way of your conviction, we always
When
say, oh,
God has said,
either
"Who are
you're
you?"
leading I mean, God has said, so we step back. But in those places where they cannot tell us that God has said, we don't even waste time to tell them to bring out their CV and go and get a job.
Wow,
Because
I love that.
you need
I
food. You're
love
going to
that.
eat, you're going to drink.
I love
So
that.
Tolu talked about how both of us were in the same, we're working together, we're colleagues. And I
Right,
was earning, I think it was 40 or 50K more. It wasn't like a lot, but it was a lot of money in 2011, maybe.
right.
And we had our baby 9 months after. So you can imagine that that's like 360. Our son was not breastfeeding. So we're on Aptamil from day from day
Oh,
10 or something like that. But the point is, an Aptamil was very expensive because they told us we had to get the nearest to breast milk because his was too early. It was like he needs the
wow,
help, so we have to get the
wow.
best milk. I remember we used to go and buy that thing, that blue container of the milk. But anyway, the point to make out of all of that is just to say that whilst we did not start, like that, but we were able to consciously do what we needed to do to be okay part time, part time, part time. And I think that's also another important thing is what are we doing? And
Mm,
immediately, and I love that, so we may not have our time to say that, but Tolu got another job. I love how,
mm,
and it's important to highlight here, if there are husbands listening, you can't take a back seat. You're a leader first. There's a reason God says you're a leader. He says, lead like
definitely.
Jesus led the church.
Right,
He was
right.
always in front. Do you see?
Yeah.
And so he stepped out of that office, went to look for a better role, got a double pay, 2 times 5 step of what he was earning before. Me, I
Hmm.
now became the low earner now.
Can you
Thank God I
imagine?
was very humble in the days where I was earning more because obviously he started taking care of me and everything,
Hmm.
moving forward from that time. But the point to make was when it was that way, we were going with what we had. He didn't sit down, he didn't rest on his
Hmm.
oars.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
continued. I remember when he got the new job, in the brokerage company, it was far better. It was a blessing to the extent, Pimo, that I had to leave the insurance company because it was on the island. And I
Right.
was coming home to know that we had
Yeah.
a baby at
Yeah.
9 months and
Yeah.
we had another one
Right.
less, 18 months. So I had to stop going to the island. I was keeping both of them with a nanny. It wasn't looking good.
Wow.
My
Wow.
husband was now in the place where he said, you know what, babe, let's take this job you got at the college in Ikeja. It was
Hmm.
paying me about that same 40K less, I remember,
Wow.
because they didn't pay as much as the insurance company. But
Wow.
because and that's something else to say again in terms of priorities, unity. I didn't even argue to
Hmm.
take that role. My husband even said, the 40K that is missing, I will be giving you.
Are you
It was
give it
Pimo,
up for Tolu?
that's why I'm happy that my husband even said that initially about how we started. But
Right.
he started giving me the 40K. So every month he would do a direct, like send it to me, like that
Wow.
40K you get in insurance
Wow.
company that you left to take
Wow.
care of the children.
Wow.
And he
Wow.
was doing that. But I don't know if anyone listening can even see the value that he brought to the table and he still brings to the
Yeah.
table, the
Yeah.
respect and the honor.
Yeah.
I don't, and I want people to listen and understand. And as a man, if you're maybe in that place and you feel like you're not there yet, you can walk up to that point. You
Yes.
don't have to be super ego.
Yes.
You heard him also say that there
Yes.
were times you couldn't, but
Yes.
just take your place, do
Yes.
your best. You see, do all you can.
Mm-hmm.
I remember doing hampers, doing makeup, I can't even list all these things. But we have to do and he was always there supporting. When I was doing the training for makeup, he would go and drop me there. I remember, Haba, let's just do what we can, make sure
Right.
we're rightly positioned, and
Right.
all of what my husband said
Right.
before.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. That's so key. Both of you have really highlighted very important points here. Really important, But my next question is around, who is a breadwinner and the issue of, I love that you said that at some point in your marriage you were earning more and he wasn't as earning as much, and then we found ourselves there. So my question is, like we've said, sometimes they feel a woman cannot earn more than a man. There's a culture, or there some cultures who believe that as the man is the breadwinner, can a woman, or should a woman be a breadwinner? What defines a breadwinner? Who is a breadwinner? That the fact that a woman is making more than the man, does that make her the breadwinner? And what exactly is a breadwinner? Where did we coin that word from? So let's start from there. Is my question straight? Who is a breadwinner? And can a woman be a breadwinner? Should a woman be a breadwinner? The fact that a woman earns more or is making more money than the man, does that make her a breadwinner?
I'm trying to think of how to answer this without sounding, because I don't know what who is the breadwinner? The person that is
Be bringing a large chunk of income,
bringing the large chunk
of money that the family needs, maybe.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that because again, for me, it's all about intention, being intentional, knowing what you want, what needs to be done, and everybody bringing what needs to be brought to the table.
Yeah.
I mentioned that right from before we got married, Jackie made some things clear, but not just because she made it clear, I also took them on board, and decided that these things I would not burden her with. I would always make sure that I would do it. And I trusted God to help me do it. And I think that is very key. I trusted God, and I know God had always and is still continuously helping me to make sure that that is done. So when we say breadwinner, I think breadwinner is the person that actually brings the large chunk of the money to the house and maybe pays everything. I remember that when I was growing up, my dad every month would say, I'll skip money, this, that, and all of that. In our house, it doesn't work that way. And that's the truth.
Awesome.
It doesn't work that way. We have a joint account where we both put money in, but I'm the one that puts the bulk of the money. And that's where all our bills go out from. That's where all our bills go out from. But having said that, apart from the bills, I don't know how Jackie does it, but when I want to eat, I eat. Because all of that out. She mops up after me. So everything, when I've done all the things that I feel are the core things, she mops up. She takes care of everything. She takes care. Sometimes when we had to do things, she would have done it, and then she can't. Jackie, when it comes to money, she doesn't let go of her money. So she's like I don't want to make it general, but she's like my mother was. When she spends money for you, she comes back and say, no, who are you? Meaning I helped you spend this money and I want it back. And she will collect it. She knows how she takes those things. So for me, I feel like both parties should actually take care of each other. If you have an agreed format that you do, then you have to do it. I don't believe that it has to be 50-50 or 70-20 or this. Once there's a way that we do it in our house that works, then we should do it. So for example, like I said, my wife will tell you, if you ask her what account, she will tell you that account, but she doesn't exactly put anything in it. She spends from it, but she doesn't put anything in it. But I also know that she spends a lot of money.
That's right.
I don't know. As in, I just know that things are done.
She's that kind of woman that just considers a field and buys it, and then you are wondering, where did you see the money to buy the field?
Very true.
Because she's a very resourceful woman.
So we can, and I think that the thing couples should note is we are both breadwinners. Do you see?
I love that.
What is bread? Bread is what we need. It's food, isn't it? And sometimes it's not even food. Sometimes it's shelter. Sometimes I'm winning. Maybe I will not say bread. I'm emotional winner. Do you see?
Yes.
Sometimes I'm just setting the place in the home in a good mood. Do you see? Sometimes, whilst he has done all the heavy lifting, and sometimes I'm just that weekend we're going away. I've sorted the hotel bills.
That's it.
And that's steadily what he will tell me, and Tolu will say every time, your income is for our comfort. So anything extra, you sort it out, So like if we have to go like a weekend away, travel, go take the kids to, all those what they're called, all those their park rides. But
Right.
even and I feel like we need to understand we're both bringing stuff to the
Both
table.
breadwinners. I
Always,
love that.
every time.
That's
All
it.
of these things my man is saying. There was people, that because I came to see counsel from you. There was a 6 month last year I wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine my husband would have said, "Oh, I'm the breadwinner, you're not the breadwinner." For real? I was doing serious work there.
What are you
I
bringing to the table, Jackie?
yeah. I was just home. I wasn't making money in that, in the sense of a 9 to 5,
I know.
But the point, and I really just want couples to take that away, particularly, women who maybe feel like, oh, is we're both bringing stuff, and even men as well, we're both bringing stuff. It doesn't matter who is bringing what at
Oh,
a
I love that.
particular time.
Yeah.
And you see, this married thing and this life entirely is seasons. I really
Mm,
want to beg us. It's really seasons. Because
that's right.
again, I feel like that's the biggest thing God taught me. And I always teach all my clients. So with Tolu and I will share with them that I always say that I can't imagine if I was a horrible wife when I felt I was earning a bit more. I would have been more. I will be suffering it now, but nobody will know that
They
it
will
was
not know.
misbehavior.
See
The
this story.
misbehavior of Oroshoki days that is dealing with me. Oroshoki. And the point to make is we are not at that place anymore.
Yeah, that's
Thank
right.
the Lord. God has helped him.
That's right.
And is the point to make is really that life is in seasons. That was
Yeah.
a season. Thank God I didn't deal with
That's
him
right.
or
Very
run our
true.
marriage that time as if that was our forever.
That's
Because the
right.
moment the coins flipped, the tables turned like this. I was the one they were taking care of more. He was talking about how I used to do the figures for him. I don't do that anymore. He sorts his figure. In fact, I'm the one that is even begging him now to come to come and be sorting my own because I don't have time for paperwork anymore. So please take that away that it's in season. So I don't know about one person being a breadwinner, but I know that we both bring value to this table to
That's
take
right.
us forward every
That's right.
day. Every day. And if we're truly one, our money is one.
That's
Whether
it.
you are putting in a joint account or you are not putting in a joint account, our
Yeah.
money is one.
Yeah.
When there's a demand for it, it's coming up immediately
That's
without argument.
That's it.
Without argument. There's
That's it.
sometimes I'm doing stuff or he's doing stuff for my family or even something without me
Right.
knowing he's done it. And he's like, oh, I did that to mommy.
No.
It's us.
There are many times I'm getting thank you messages from my dad.
And you're wondering.
Maybe I see. No, I don't want that again. Maybe I see. I just go. I just stay alone because I know what has happened.
Wow.
Even without her telling me and all of that.
I think
and that's on the regular,
it's the mindset. It's really the mindset.
The mindset.
Intentionality. It's
totally
us.
agree with you.
Always, not me. It's us.
And that is a foundational thing because you got it right from the very beginning, and that's what you're building on. So it's a mindset thing. It's a value system thing. It's an understanding of what marriage is all about. So a lot of people say we are one, but we are only one in flesh. We are not one in spirit.
They're one in bed. So that's they're one in bed, but they're not one in their bank.
They're not one in their bank.
That's the biggest problem.
That is it.
Because it's almost like you can touch my body, you can do everything else, but you can't touch my money. Don't touch my money.
Don't touch it. I'm telling you.
And raise the question of how we really love each other.
Exactly. Unfortunately, money has become a semi-god, even in the lives of people. And I think the moment God can deliver you from the love of money is one of the greatest deliverance we should pray for. Where God delivers you as an individual from the love of money, where you understand that money is not a means to it's not an end in itself.
It's not the end, it's the means.
The means to an
end. Transport, it's a tool.
It's a tool that we both need, and it should not be strong enough to come in between the two of you.
So it's about mindset. The elephant in the room.
At all. And I love what you said also about faces, and I think people should embrace it. I remember when we got married, I was earning 17,000. Actually, you were saying 40,000. Did you say 40,000 less? In 2005, I was earning 17,000. When we first got married, it was difficult for me the first 6 months to get a job. So we were both not working. How we survived those 6 months, I honestly don't know till today. You understand? He already knew he was going to do ministry. We were planning for that. He had books he had written. He had launched those books. We're living from the proceeds of the book. I wanted to work, so in as much as I was doing ministry, I knew I wanted to work. So, but getting a job was so hard because we just moved to Abuja. But eventually I got a job and it was 70K per month. And I remember at the end of every month, I would bring it and say, this is the salary for this month. How do we spend it? 17,000. What does that cover? But the amazing thing, I did that for about another 6 years thereabout before one major breakthrough came for us. And I'm sure PD has shared this testimony over and over and over, how a woman of God that we consider a spiritual mentor, mother in Abuja, just took us in, having met us through our spiritual father. And then before you knew what was happening, she said, I'm going to be paying you salary. Told my husband, I'm going to be paying you salary every month for 1 year. And she was paying him 100,000 every month. Now tell me 17,000 and 100,000. Please, what's the correlation? Like, how does he relate? Where is the middle ground? Do you get what I'm saying? Just like you said, while earning 17,000, I was feeling like it's my money. It's my money. I will decide what we do with it. Okay, so now would I have known that just 6 months down the line, there's going to be 100,000 coming in? And she was specific to say it. She said, it is your salary. It's not for church. If you now want to spend it for church because you're a new church, you're just starting, that's fine. But this is me paying you salary. And she did it, I'm not kidding you, without fail for a whole year. Without fail. A particular day at the end of the month, my husband would get a call, come and pick your check. 100,000. At that time, our friends that were working in consulting, we're not earning 100,000. So the truth is, life is in phases. Life is in seasons. The Bible says money failed in Egypt. Money can fail.
Yeah.
You think you have it today, it's gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so you can't make permanent decisions on something as flimsy and as it's not as real as that. You understand? So I just really love what you said about faces, and I really hope that a lot of people, especially women, will be humble enough. And I think that for some women also, what you said about mindset and value system, some of them, the mindset and value system they have is not rooted in the word. It's rooted in tradition. It's rooted in old wife fables. It's rooted in what my mother told me. It's rooted in what happened in my auntie's family, in my auntie's marriage. That's what my auntie was doing. No, she was giving her money. The man was just spending it. I can never give any man my money. I think you need to ask yourself, the value system I'm operating in my marriage today, where is it grounded? Where is it rooted? Is it rooted in experiences or is rooted in the word of God? Because the word of God will never fail. So many other things can fail, but if it is the word of God, it will stand the test of time. You might look foolish to every other person, but trust me, if it is the word of God, it will stand the test of time. So, and that's just to, add voice to what Jackie and Tolu have said about, especially the women, when they begin to earn more or God blesses you. But I also want to say that sometimes in life, I'm sure we've met such people, and maybe Tolu will touch on this for the men, that sometimes in life, there are some marriages whereby the woman, they will say it in Yoruba, Olori Aje. I don't know how to explain that in English. Like there are times when the one, yes, she actually carries grace to be prosperous. We have so many of them. We have so many of them.
Yes.
They are just
of course.
Awoshikas. But then they have men who are supportive, men who don't feel less or inferior because so just Tola, I would like you to touch on that, because some men feel like it can never be. I must always earn more than a woman. It's like almost a taboo that a woman should earn more than her husband. We've dealt with the part of being humble as a woman. whereby it's not even so obvious, because some women also can be very, immature in managing
Yeah.
those things, whereby even down to the children know money, mommy is the one giving us money. There's wisdom in managing those kind of things. But I want you to talk to the men, that are probably listening, that how are those things, what is the mindset we should have, in managing that kind of situation, when you notice that your wife actually has grace for certain things,
Mm.
and the line of prosperity that God has opened her way. She's your helper. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you, Pimo. I think at the end of the day, it still all boils down to something that I've been saying in different ways, and that is your why. Your why. Anybody that knows me, so GPS are meeting now, but assuming they were not, I'm sure if they hear me, they will feel like this is a broken record. I'm always saying it. What is your why? Why are you in this thing? Why are you in this marriage? Why did you marry this person? If you know your why, and your why is rooted in God, then
Right.
you would not have a problem with whatever the situation is. I'm not going to say that this is a season, because like you said, there are some women that would be in that position all through your
Yeah.
lives,
Yeah.
from beginning
Yeah.
to the end. They are
Yeah.
going to earn more, they are going to be more influential, they are going to
Yeah.
be more out, they are going to be
Yeah.
more out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
What is your why? There are some men that like to be in the background. I ordinarily like to be helping in the background. Situations put me um,
Situations.
as
Nah.
put me out now.
Jackie
If you
pulled you
let
out.
me, I would rather just be that guy at the back and all of that. But yes, as in, having said that, yeah. So, what is your why? If you understand your why, and your why is rooted in God, you would know that at the end of the day, there is a reason that woman is in your life.
So good.
Right.
For every man, the woman was, for Adam, Eve was created as a helper.
That's right.
So maybe for the purpose that God created you, that woman was created to be in that position,
That's
to be
right.
more influential, to
That's
be
right.
richer, to be all of this. Maybe that is why. Most likely that is what God has done. God, if you are actually somebody that is rooted in that is rooted in God, you must understand that this is why God has created this person, so that
Right.
this person can do some things, and my purpose is to align with God's will for my life.
That's
And
it.
what is
That's
God's
it.
will for my life? If you really understand what God's will, you will know why that woman is in the position
He's
that
in
she
the
is, and it
position
will not
that
be a problem for you.
that's it.
If
That's
you
it.
really understand why you are created, you would not be threatened by the position that your wife is.
That's it.
You will not be threatened that your wife is richer, or that your wife is more in the in limelight, that your wife is wherever she is,
That's right.
because you know that this is what God has called me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Once you know that, every other thing you would understand is working towards
That's right.
achieving what God has created you for. Whilst God is achieving what He has created her for
Half
too.
four. Yeah.
So I think that where men have a problem is when they don't have a why
Why?
in that situation.
Wow.
So for
Wow.
those who are not yet married, this is the time for you to understand your why. Why? Why am I? Why am I alive? Why am
That's
I getting into this relationship? Why am I
that's
marrying this person?
Why do
that's right.
husbands
Why
exist?
do
That's
husbands exist? Why do wives exist?
that's right. That's right.
Understand all those whys. When you know all those whys, when you know that, and all those whys will still come back to one
One
why.
thing. Yeah.
That's it.
Why am I
One
existing?
central
Mm.
why.
Mm.
So
Wow.
once you understand that, and once you get that, every other thing will just
Mm.
be secondary, and you would enjoy it.
That's it.
You would
That's it.
enjoy whatever it is that is
There's
happening.
even coming.
That's
The
it.
person, the woman having more influence, the woman having more money. It's not just about money now. So we
No.
use the example of Mrs. Awoshika, Mrs. Bukun Awoshika, and all of
Yeah.
that. I never knew her husband.
Yeah.
We were watching her in
What church was that again?
Pastor
Taiwo the lawyer.
Global Impact, I think.
Global Impact,
Yeah, I think
yes.
she went to
Well,
speak
yeah,
there.
she went.
So
And she was
watch
talking about her husband. They had both gone
Right.
to church, and then he
Right.
came to drop her. They went to. They are coming back to speak. And she talked
Right.
about all of that. A lot of people wouldn't know him, but does it mean that he doesn't exist? Does it mean that
Exactly.
she does not
Exactly.
respect him? Does it mean that I don't know what their life is? But from
Right.
the way she talks, you would know that she is a man that has influence
That's
to
it.
some extent over
That's
her.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And so why would anybody not be happy
Happy.
to enjoy the grace of God on a
Mm.
person that God has made to be your helper?
Mm.
To be your
Mm.
helper.
Mm.
I
You
think
know, to touch on that before Jackie now, says what she wants to say, I even think that it is a plus to the man
Of course.
when the woman is shining, either
mm,
in terms of influence or in terms of wealth.
mm,
Now, the Bible says two are better than one.
yeah,
That means when two people come together, it's meant to enhance the life of both.
mm,
So the fact that a woman is able to give expression to
Yes.
the giftings of God in her life is because there's a man that has provided the platform for her to flourish. If that man did not provide the right environment, the right platform, the encouragement, the support, that woman won't be in the position where she is. So me, I'm going to look at it the other way around, that it is the man's pride. The
mm,
Bible talks in Ephesians about, when he was saying that the marriage between a man and a wife is like Christ and the church, and it said that the man might present her to himself, a glorious church. He's not presenting her just to the world, but the joy, the glory is to him, in the sense that, yeah, I'm excited because I feel like you are showcasing every investment I put in you. That is how
Honestly.
I'm gonna say it. You look
uh,
at, yes,
Timo,
please.
please, would you allow me to be a bit vain? I was just under my breath. I was asking her, do you have any Grace Junkie around? I was very involved in the
In the,
design of the Grace
can you
Junkie
imagine?
cover,
Wow.
and I was actually very, very proud
And
to
you
see
see,
that it was Oludimu that was written. That was written there. And I told her, I remember, I don't know if you remember, I was like, please make that Oludimu bold. Make
I'm
it
telling
bold.
you, make it
I'm
very
just
bold.
this is me being vain, but really,
No, it's allowed. No,
was
it's allowed. It's your joy.
you-
It's your joy. It's your pride
yeah.
that
So
she's shining. And I think, men who show some level of insecurity don't understand this part.
nah,
That this is, she's actually showcasing my strength.
Yeah.
Have been able to shine and make more money or whatever it is because I have allowed it, in the
Yes.
sense that
People
I've
have
provided the right platform for her to
Mhm.
flourish.
Mhm.
Because if I didn't do that,
Mhm.
you can't be productive in a
Mhm.
very hostile environment.
Yes.
It takes a
Yes.
measure of freedom, and and you find out that such women, people get to talk about their husbands and they're like, man, I salute this woman's husband, as in I salute this woman's husband, even though we don't know her. The only thing we know about Deborah's husband is that his name is Lapidot. That's all.
Accurate.
yeah,
Accurate.
But the truth is that Deborah fulfilled her assignment. Yes. Was the man instrumental in her fulfilling an assignment? Yes, a big yes. We look at Proverbs 31 and it seemed like everything they said about the husband was that he sits at the gates. But we now read plenty CV about the woman. She's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. He's
He
able
was
to sit
enabled.
at the gate as an elder because he has given her platform to flourish.
mm,
And it doesn't mean, back to what Jackie said at the beginning, we are both breadwinners here. So it's not
yeah,
my success is your success. My influence is your influence. My being out there, we are both covering for each other. So whatever it is that comes to me, that puts me out there, at the end of the day, I'm going to celebrate you as well, because it is our win. It's not my win. It's our win. And we're in this together. Really. So thank you so much, Tolu, for that. Jackie.
okay.
Yeah, I would just add to say that as a man, you need to remember that you are meant to nurture. They say that you are the husband, isn't it? You are the groom. I don't
That's
know
it.
if I think we don't always remember that name after the wedding day. So, but you're a bridegroom. You are meant to groom something. The word groom means to grow, to nurture, to make it blossom, to make it become better. And one of the things that always come to mind, I always say that if Jesus said that you should love your wife the way that he loves the church, I remember that when Jesus was living, Jesus is the Lord and is the master.
Right.
Pimo, Jesus gave us, the church, his wife, right? He gave us the permission to go and do more than he did.
That's it. Can you imagine?
He said greater works.
Wow.
Why? If you as a husband, you know your role now. You are Jesus to me. Why?
You be threatened.
And I think that that's just a blessing. So in all of the many things we've said, and I like that it's even coming up in this finance bit, is the fact that all of many things that we do as a couple, when we published Grace Junkie, I think we did 2,000, 1,000 copies at it. We just printed. Nobody gave anybody money for that. It was our money, money. And that's the point I want to bring out of that is that when a husband gives you the opportunity, the room, the peace of mind to be able to fulfill purpose, at the end of the day, look at how he's saying that is Oludimu, is this, is that. But at the end of the day, it is to the glory of God. In heaven, it is our union that is, being acknowledged. Well done in doing this work.
That's it.
So if you remember and can think in that way, to help you. That's all I'm going to say.
It will. Thank you. I want to ask Jackie a question, then I'm going to ask the last question, and then we tie this all up. And that is, so I've had cases of women who are very driven, they're very driven, very, goal setters, they believe, certain things, very independent. Probably they were raised that way. And then God in his wisdom, and like I say, has sense of humor, he now joins them with a guy who is not laid back, but is probably not just as driven. You get, there are some really ambitious women who just believe in we must do this, we must do that, I must do this, I must do that. And some men just believe in slow and steady. I'm not lazy, but just taking it one time at the other. But I've had cases where the women now seem to put a lot of pressure on this men. And they label and tag them as they label and tag them as, they are not ambitious. You get me? Yeah. So meanwhile, this same guy might not be as ambitious and driven as you are, but he takes care of the children. He makes food. When you get back from work, you meet nice hot meal. Not like he's not working. He's working. But, he's probably a handsome person. He's always there. He's the one that is ready to take the children out, to go to the store, to go to the mall, to go to the park. He's meeting up in other areas that you are far lacking in. But yet, there's that, I don't know, I've had a few people in that situation. And, what would you say to such women? Because sometimes it puts a strain on the marriage. And unfortunately, some of such situations leads to divorce.
Okay, so the first thing to say is you're not married to yourself. If you wanted to marry yourself, then you shouldn't have bothered. You are not married to yourself. And number two, you are shortchanging yourself if you're hoping to see yourself in your partner. You're shortchanging yourself big time. There is a reason that the Lord matches us up the way he does.
Yeah.
I totally get a bit of this because my husband and I have very different personalities. So, and I'm sure you will know, Pimo, the disc spectrum at all. I'm a D. My husband is a C. So if you see DISC, my husband is on the C, like at the extreme end. My husband is the step by step. You can't rush me. If you rush me, I will open my eye for you. Like, let me not even start.
Oh my God.
But the thing about it is, for the first 18 to 24 months, it was a big issue. I would be very infuriated, and You're supposed to have done this. We didn't do this. Oh, I asked you to do it, and your opinion on this matter, you didn't tell me. And we are dragging on it, and I will go on and on. One of my pre-marriage clients is on is online. I can see him. This is one of the examples I give them because I was not even aware that we were operating on two different personalities.
Wow.
I expected that because if I think of an idea now, he should catch it. He should think, yes, let's do it.
Wow.
My husband will not. Don't if you ever think that because we saw this is what they are doing today, exactly. Tolu, let's go. My husband just say, okay. 5 days we are still on the matter. He said, I would have to say, and no, the point to make is, and I always say, see, we are all different.
Yeah.
The woman who is thinking that, oh, my husband is not like me, he's not as driven as I am, my husband is driven too, but he's driven in his time.
Telling you.
I will take 2 days to think on a thing. Once I just, he will take 10 days. And let me tell you what happens, Pimo, at the end of the day. Whilst we may say, yes, let's do it, he will say, let's do it with about 5-point agenda that he has seen that I didn't see.
Just imagine. Wow.
Now, the point to make out of that is please leverage on your partner's strengths and stop highlighting their difference or their what you call weakness, because it's not a weakness for you. You have your own weaknesses too. You, the driven woman. Most of the time, you don't know when to stop. They know when to stop. They can stop you before you do yourself.
That's it.
So don't even look at things from that point of like, oh, they can't be like, and that's why I started with that, and I'm going to say it again. They can't be like you. I always tell people that say, look at Grace Junkie cover. I had settled for one. My husband came and said, no, it can't be that way. It has to be glossy. It has to be this. In my head, I'm like, what happened? Kill me, leave me. Let's just do. One assignment was already on my own neck like this, like, let me just do and move on, But he was like, no, he wants this. He wants them to have the book divider. He actually spoke to the printer, him, I've just forgotten his name. He spoke to him and said, this is what he wants. And I'm like, Jesus, Lord, I didn't think that far. So yes, I wanted to get a book done, but he wanted to get the book done in a beautiful way. So yes, driven, but driven how? Well, I just hope that people hear that, please. And it's really important. Yes, when you said it leads to divorce, I have dealt with such cases because the woman is always highlighting the weakness or the part that she has that he doesn't have.
That's it.
It's such a big error. You use your strength to cover that weakness. And he will use his own strength to cover your weakness. If not,
you do have weakness.
Yes. They will see the driven do that gets things done, but maybe not getting it done properly. The moment my husband stepped into GPS ministry, oh Jesus Lord, even those were the order. Let's do it this way. So even today before the meeting was already saying, oh, we have to split. There's a new batch just started and they are looking like they're becoming too many because we always want one-on-one and so that they can monitor. Right. And he was already saying we have to split it. Whilst I was already thinking they will rough it, he was saying, they have to split it. So we have to look at things from the right way, half full, not half empty. Always look at your partner that way. What are the strengths that he brings to the table? I always constantly remind myself of the strengths of my husband. So it's always hard for the enemy to highlight what he should not highlight to me.
That's it. Whoa.
I think that I'm going to say two things. So there's this 80-20 Pareto's law. I think that's the way they say. Yeah, where everybody, as in I talk about that in relationships. So you are in a relationship with someone. That person has 80% strength and some 20% weakness. Now you have a choice to either concentrate on the 80% and leave and ignore, or find a way to work on the 20 without making it an issue. Or you can concentrate on the 20 and ignore the 80. And as a result of the fact that you are concentrating on the 20, you actually leave that person. Now, when you leave that person and you go to somebody else, because the person you are leaving, that 20 was your issue. You are looking out for somebody that is sorting out that 20. So it becomes the 80 of that other person. That person then has the strength that the other partner did not have. So you see
Wow.
that in the person and you
Wow.
follow that.
Wow.
And then you later
Wow.
realize that, okay, this person has his own problems because we are
Just
not,
20%.
nobody is perfect.
Nobody.
Nobody is perfect. We all have our weaknesses. So
That's it.
if you are not careful, then you start looking at that 20 and you now start thinking about, this person that was there before. This was. So what am I trying to say? We need to actually find a way not to concentrate on the weaknesses of our partners, but really, like she said, hone on the strengths that they have and maximize the strengths.
That's it.
And make the best of it. When you are giving out the question, there was something that was playing in my mind when you were talking about the man is at home and all of that. I remember when we moved to the UK, we had to make a lot of sacrifices. I couldn't work during the day because what do they call it? Child minders are very expensive. And we knew that if the two of us would work and we will pay child minding, we will end up not making any money. So one of us will be using all our money to pay child minder and all of that. So we had to do something. She was working during the day, I was working at night because of the kind of job I was doing. So I would go and work at night. Many nights we see each other at the door or something because I'm waiting for her. Where are you now? She's coming in. I'm like, okay, me, I'm going. You are coming in and all of that. Now, it means that in the morning she would have prepared the children, but she leaves them for me. I come home, I take the children to school. I'm the one that is going to go and pick them. A lot of people were not seeing my wife at that time.
Can imagine.
They will not see them. So they probably will be wondering what kind of man,
what kind of man
is
this?
that does not have time.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time for the children and all. She's never there. When we have things to do in school, I'm the one that is always there. Then they were doing a lot of activities, swimming, this every day. I was one taking them to all those things. She wasn't around. Does it mean that she did not care for them? No, but it was at that point in time that was what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then things changed. I went back to school, to uni, and I couldn't do the nights again. Initially, it was not easy. We were having then to pay child minding, but it got to a point. My wife said, I can't do this. I can't be that person that is not there for my children. She actually left her job so that she could have time for the children. So that, and to allow me be free, because then, even as a student, I was having to cut from a lot of things because I had to rush back home to come and I had to be, because the child minding the place, they would finish at 6 or something. So no matter what I was doing, I had to stop and be back to pick them, because she was in London. She was working in the heart of London, in city. So there was no way she could make it. I was one that was closer home and all of that. What am I trying to say? That yes, there are times when what life throws at you would make one person have to do some things. When we were in Nigeria, that was never a problem because there was always somebody to help and all of that. But so it might not relate to some people now, but you will discover that whatever it is, whatever life is throwing at you, whatever phase you are in, whatever season you are in, the two of you must come to a place where you understand and you are able to make sacrifices. And you are not just sitting down with the traditional that daddy must go to work and come back, mommy must be the one at home. And not working was not because that was tradition. Daddy had to go and work. No, it was because at that point in time, she was the one that could take that decision. And immediately we could change it. We changed. We went back to her working and all of that. And but so what am I saying? That
synergy,
covering each other.
Yeah. So I love it. That example was so much on roles we play in the family, but it's also still on roles when we use our strengths to cover up the partner's weaknesses and use, it's so important. A man is driven, when you were sharing earlier to Pimo, I remember that yesterday Tolu did something, he registered a business, but the point to make about that is that someone would have thought that, oh, maybe he's not that kind of person, but he's been nurturing even that business name for before you met me. Before you met me. So when he plugged it in yesterday, and he was like, it's funny that finally this day has come.
Wow.
When he was thinking about when he had this name, you were in Osu, isn't it?
No, well, it was after I started insurance.
Oh,
This was
okay. So he must. But the point to make it, we're not even here in the UK. Who would have known that it was
Wow.
here that it would have fruition, that it would come alive?
Wow.
The point to just make is that don't. So Sha, there's so much to say, but
And
it's just don't ever underestimate your husband or your wife's personality.
that's it.
Everyone and the way that God has wired them and the way that
That's
they
it.
function. Do you see?
That's it.
Having said all of this, Pimo, it is important to highlight that we have not remained where we were. In
That's
the
it.
midst of, oh, this person is not
That's
really,
it.
he's
That's
a A or
it.
he's a
That's
C
it.
or I'm a D,
Yeah.
every personality has their plus and minus. We
That's it.
constantly are training ourselves to do
That's
better.
it.
My
That's
personality can be very impatient, can be
mm,
very irritable. We work on it to be better because we
that's
can't
it.
last with those kind of things showing
That's
up.
it.
He can also take time in making
Yeah.
decisions because he's processing. He's very careful. He likes things perfect. So he can do that. But he has also learned that if we keep doing that, we will lose
That's it.
opportunities.
That's
So
it.
he
That's
knows
it.
also when to hurry
Mm,
fast. Sometimes he's not the one
super.
putting fire under my bum. I'm like,
That's
Shebi,
it.
I'm the one that is and it's beautiful. So please give room to grow and do better. Please with
That's
yourselves. Then these
it.
things will
That's
not
it.
be an issue for a long time.
I love this. I love this. I love the fact that, yeah, we can start out this way, but then we're advancing, we're progressing. And that's one of the ways you know a successful marriage. There has
Mhm.
to be growth. And the
Yes.
growth has to be both ways. It's not that
Yes.
one person is growing, the other isn't growing, because that's why two are better than one,
Mhm.
because it produces being better. So
Yes.
I should advance, he should advance.
Yes.
My being in your life should make you a better person. Your being
Yes.
in
So
my
good.
life should make
So
me a
good.
better person. And
So
I
good.
love that fact that, yeah, I could be this kind of person, but we can't make compromises as we grow together. So
Yes.
I choose to be it's true what you said, and I'm a living testimony to that. And I'm sure you know that
Yes.
myself and
Mm.
PD, we're so different. We don't like the same things. We don't operate at the same. We honestly are just so different, yet still together and still able to come together as one and achieve certain things together. So it's very, very important. Thank you so much for your point. I mean, it's really been uh very interesting conversation. I mean, I've really been blessed just listening to the two of you. And in closing, I want you, both of you individually, to just share with us what has been your greatest financial lesson in marriage. What has been your greatest financial lesson? If a single person came to you and you manage them, you talk to them every day, what would be your greatest financial lesson in marriage?
I'll go
Okay.
first. I'll go first.
Okay.
Um, I'll take this from the Bible. Uh, Tolu. Now suddenly it's going off my head. The Bible talking about Adam and Eve being naked but
I'm not
not
ashamed.
ashamed.
Shame.
I think this cuts across everything marriage,
Mm.
but in terms of
Lessons.
lessons and money matters,
Mm.
you have to be naked and not ashamed.
Mm,
You have to be in a position where you are open to the other.
Mm.
You are
mm,
married. You
mm,
are you are married. Not just It's not just about the body. It's not
mm,
just about the children.
Mm.
It's about everything, and money is one of them. You
mm,
must be naked and unashamed. You must be that person that is able to show. I've heard people tell me that you can't let your
Wow.
spouse
yeah,
Mm.
know
yeah,
everything. You can't
yeah,
show them
yeah,
everything. You
yeah.
can't, because um, there's a way they say it in Yoruba that see finish kind of and
Mm,
all of that. I
mm,
don't think there's anything far from the truth than
mm,
that. There might be challenges with when the other person knows how everything is going. So, for example, my wife knows everything, but I still would want to surprise her. I still want to give her gifts and all
yeah,
of that. I
yeah,
must find a way to go about it without her knowing.
yeah,
There are ways to go about it.
Yeah.
There are ways to do things, especially when you want to do it, when you are intentional about doing it, that you will do it and she wouldn't know. You still get to do the surprise you want to do. But you
right.
must be naked and
I'm
unashamed
ashamed of your
Mm,
in your
finances.
finances. That has been something that has worked for me, and I believe it will work for any man that is rooted in God.
And
Thank
has a
you.
good
Thank
wife
you for
as well.
that. That is
And has a good
And
wife.
has a God-fearing wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is so profound. Thank you so much, Tolu, for that. Jackie.
I think for me it would be one of the tips I share with my my couples when we're sitting down with them is the fact that you need to spend more than you earn, spend less than you earn. I feel like it's such a big problem in the days we live in. I also remember the days when, even though it wasn't like we're spending more than we earned when we first started, but I feel like we could have even spent less. Do you see what I mean? The point you make, as an example, maybe why would we driving two cars when we are okay with one car and we can save more money? As an example, if that is the context you're in your marriage,
Yeah.
because there will always be more when you spend less. Do you see? And we won't fight over, oh, there's no money. It's just it's an easy way to just make sure that we are okay. And money is not the elephant in the room that is causing, issues. Spend less than you earn. Yes, people may be traveling. If you can't afford it now, it's okay. The day
Yeah.
when you will travel is
That's it.
coming. Always something. Sorry to speak Yoruba, but it's point the
What is not enough
Say
now
it in
is going to
Yoruba
come.
and then translate it. It's sweeter
so
in Yoruba.
Whatever.
Got you to something like that.
Okay.
Yes. So, meaning
Okay.
that what is not enough now is
Enough
still
now.
coming. It will be enough and it will be more than enough and it will
That's
remain.
That's it.
So
Awesome.
meaning that for now, if that's where you are, even if you have a lot of money now, still spend less than you earn.
Yeah.
That's actually how those people who we
Yeah.
call billionaires are. You
That's
see them,
it.
they don't even use the latest phones.
That's
And
it.
those are the
That's
little things that one can do. It's easy to get into the UK and start buying designer bags, and I
it.
don't pass myself. I just stay where I am because I want to have what I need when I need it, not
it.
how. And I hope that helps someone. Yeah.
Sorry,
Wow.
and keep on
No,
just
go
in
ahead.
addition to that. It's very possible. I used to think it was not possible. I used to think that so that was part of the issues I had. I had this bad mentality
Financial mindset.
that I don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. So today
And let's spend it. You were the spender.
Let me enjoy myself.
I get the enjoyment.
And then when you move to a country like the UK,
Of course,
where credit is the norm, you get everything. You want something, just go into Argos and take it, and then they will tell you pay back in 6 months. When you are taking it, you are telling yourself, I'm going to be. You would have planned it.
I can pay it back
in
now.
6 months because it will be interest free for the first 6 months.
Right.
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's when they are sending you a reminder that this thing is everything that you don't be like.
You don't remember that.
What I have learned in recent times, because we have a project that we're working on, and I needed to be careful with my credit, and I just realized that it was very possible for me not to spend what I don't need now. In December, I was like, my car is not this. I wanted to get a car and all of that. But we sat down, we thought about it. It was very painful for me that I couldn't get it. But I didn't. And now I'm not regretting it. Because I know how it would have affected my credit and all of that, and how it will affect the goal that we have in front of us and all of that. And I'm happy that I didn't do what I thought I wanted to do at that time. So yes, it's very possible to actually spend less than you earn.
Spend less than you earn. And people, let me give them a jara, have a long-term goal as well. When you have a long-term goal, it determines how you spend money.
That's
it's
it.
People that don't have what they want to do with money, that just spend money as it.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, and I think
that's it. That your last statement was like something that the couple I interviewed last week said, and they were talking about the kingdom-minded couple, whereby you're making money is not just about yourself. It's not just about
there's a lot to do.
What we eat, what we wear, the house we live in. There's a lot more to making money. There's a lot more, and that's what we call the kingdom couple. And that's what you find in Proverbs 31, whereby they are not just servicing themselves, they're servicing households, they're servicing people. The money they make is beyond just their household, their family. They're extending it to the poor, to people around them. They have a kingdom agenda. You get me? And when you have that, there's no how God will not send resource It's like
Ah,
an Aquila and Priscilla. There would be resource,
that one.
be resource for them to be able to carry out,
Yes.
the
Story,
God.
story of our lives.
I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
there
Mm.
will always, because there's a goal, like you said,
Yeah.
there's something we're working towards, and
Mm.
it's when you don't have that, that you just feel like, any
Yeah.
money I get now for enjoyment, let me just be
Yes.
spending and be
Yes.
lounging and having a nice time. Well, it has been an hour
That's
30
a great
minutes
time.
of pure pure blessedness. That's how I can define it. Thank you so much for spending time with me this evening, sharing of yourself, and just being a blessing to us. You've really made a lot of powerful points. I'm happy that you were vulnerable also to take us, into your
Thank
personal life, to
you.
share
Yeah.
with us. Thank you. Thank you for being yourselves. Thank you for being real. Thank you for being open. Thank you for backing it up with God's word. Thank you for just telling us as it is. I believe everyone who joined in I'm reading the comments, a number of people are just like, wow, awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Ma. There are some comments that are not here, on the Facebook group and all of that. But thank you so much for joining me today. I really had a wonderful time. I anticipated it anyway. So I had a wonderful time with both of you. And thank you so much. Do you have anything else you want to say before I let you go? Any parting words, any like summary, anything that you wanted to say that probably my questions didn't go in that line?
Not me. I just want to say thank you to you,
Yeah.
Pimo. Thank you for always being a blessing. Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Um,
you.
and my love to PD.
Yes. Sir.
Yes,
My love
I
to
will.
PD.
I will
I
tell
spoke,
him.
I spoke with him
Yeah.
2 days ago. I was sleeping. She brought the phone to me.
Yeah.
So it was later that I was now like, okay, it was.
Yeah.
No
He called
problem.
to
I
text
will
you.
deliver
Yeah,
your message
my
to
love to
him.
him.
I will. Thank you so much for coming. Love you
Thank you for
guys.
having us,
Thank
Pimo.
you. Thank
My
Anytime.
you.
Thank you so
pleasure.
much,
I
man.
know. I know. Have
We
a
love
beautiful.
you. Thank
Love you
you.
too. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love
you for being such a great role model as well. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Love you guys. Bye. Wow, what a wonderful time we've had. I mean, really wonderful. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying through. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for learning. And to those who are not married, I mean, it's just a privilege. A number of us probably, wished we had a lot of these things, during our time. Even though we didn't, we thank God for how God has helped us. But these are vital, vital information, vital things that we should note and we should make commitment to follow through. All right. So next week, I will be coming again with another amazing couple, and I'm looking forward to interviewing them. And it's really going to be awesome. So I encourage you, Thursday, 7 p.m. Do not miss it. And I will see you again. Thank you for always joining. Thank you for your encouragements. Thank you for your feedback. God bless you and have a beautiful evening and a lovely weekend ahead.